It begins with a sky that feels far too quiet. The air grows heavier, almost expectant, as if something enormous is building behind an invisible curtain. You can feel it before you see it, a subtle tension spreading through the atmosphere, a strange stillness that descends over streets and fields and forests. Birds cut their songs short. Leaves stop rustling. The wind pauses. It's in these moments before the first distant rumble that the story of hail truly begins. Most people think of hail as nothing more than frozen rain, but the truth is far more dramatic. Hail is a war inside the clouds, a violent struggle between upward force and gravity. Far above the ground, inside giant storm systems called supercells, warm air is hurled upward at astonishing speeds, sometimes faster than a professional baseball pitch. These updrafts create towering walls of rotating air, lifting droplets thousands of feet into colder and colder layers of the sky. What falls back down is no longer just water, it is something transformed. Imagine a tiny droplet being pulled upward into this icy chamber. The moment it freezes, lightning flashes nearby. A new blast of warm air shoots upward, grabbing the frozen speck and throwing it back into the storm's heart. There it meets supercooled water, liquid that should be frozen already but is. The liquid clings to the icy seed, growing it layer by layer like a tree forming rings. Then, with another surge, it rises again. This cycle repeats dozens, even hundreds of times, until the droplet becomes a spherical, layered stone of ice. Some hailstones grow as large as softballs. Some reach the size of grapefruits. And all of this happens high above the heads of people who have no idea that, in just a few minutes, the sky will open and begin to rain down ice from the heavens. To understand hail, you have to understand storms on a deeper level, how they breathe, how they evolve, how they organize themselves into colossal engines that feed on the world's heat. Hail-producing storms don't appear out of nowhere. They require a very specific recipe: hot, moist air near the ground, cold, dry air high above, and enough instability to make the atmosphere boil upward in towering plumes. When these elements align, the sky becomes a machine. The ground heats during the afternoon, warming the air just enough to make it rise. As the warm air climbs, it cools and condenses into towering cumulonimbus clouds, mountains of water vapor stretching miles into the atmosphere. The higher they rise, the more unstable they become. The cloud builds upward like a skyscraper of steam, twisting gently at first, then violently. Electricity crackles through its center. Rain forms, then vanishes into vapor, then forms again. High inside this cloud, the winds are powerful enough to suspend baseball-sized ice as if it weighs nothing. The hailstones smash into one another, fusing, growing, splitting, then freezing again. Each one carries the fingerprints of the storm that created it, a record of every moment it spent climbing and falling through layers of the sky. Meanwhile, far below, the environment begins to shift. The temperature drops as cold air spills out of the storm. Winds change direction abruptly. Some people describe an eerie greenish tint in the sky, caused by light scattering through immense volumes of moisture and ice. This strange glow has become legendary in storm-prone regions. Farmers know it. Pilots know it. Anyone who has lived through a major hailstorm recognizes it instantly. It is the sky's quiet warning. Something powerful is coming. When the hail finally begins to fall, the world reacts. A metallic roar rises as ice slams against rooftops, cars, trees, fields. Windows tremble. Animals flee. The sound is unmistakable, like thousands of stones thrown at once, like a stampede of frozen thunder. Hail doesn't fall like rain. It drops with force, weight, and momentum. A large hailstone can reach speeds of 70 or 80 miles per hour before impact. That's fast enough to dent steel, crack windshields, strip branches from trees, and flatten entire crops within minutes. In parts of the U.S. Great Plains, farmers fear hail more than tornadoes. A tornado may pass quickly, but hail can erase a field in seconds. And yet within the destruction there is always beauty. Some hailstones are perfectly symmetrical, with rings like glass marbles. Others form spiked, uneven shapes, dangerous, jagged ice that twirls violently as it falls. Scientists sometimes cut hailstones open to study their layers, revealing concentric circles that tell a story of the storm's internal structure, like reading the biography of a cloud. In rare cases, hail becomes extraordinary. In Argentina, researchers documented hailstones so large they were considered megahail, measuring more than 9 inches across. Some storms produce such extreme updrafts that hailstones grow beyond what physics should allow. These are the monsters of the storm world, silent, growing giants waiting to fall. And when they do, the landscape changes. Streams fill with ice. Roads disappear beneath a slushy, white blanket. Cars look like they were hammered by thousands of tiny meteors. The air cools sharply, as if the storm exhaled winter onto the world below. As quickly as it arrives, the storm begins to weaken. The updraft slows. The thunder softens. The hail shrinks in size, then fades into cold rain. The sky exhales, releasing the last of its tension. A strange quietness follows, as if the storm has left the world stunned. In the aftermath, people emerge cautiously from homes and storefronts. They examine the dents in their vehicles, the shredded leaves scattered across lawns, the broken branches, the shards of ice melting slowly into the earth. Nature resets itself. Birds return hesitantly. The wind shifts to something gentler. The sun peeks through the clouds with a golden glow, illuminating the wet, glistening surfaces left behind. But the story of hail does not end with a storm's passing. Every hailstorm teaches scientists something new about the atmosphere. Researchers chase these storms with Doppler radars, drones, and high-tech sensors. They fly aircraft through dangerous updrafts, risking the turbulence of the storm's interior to collect data that might one day improve forecasts. Meteorologists study hailstone structure to understand wind speeds inside the clouds. Engineers design stronger roofs, vehicles, and materials to withstand the force of ice falling from the sky. And slowly, humanity learns about storms, about the changing climate, about the delicate balance of forces shaping our atmosphere. Some hailstorms are becoming more intense as temperatures rise. Warmer air holds more moisture, feeding storms with greater energy. With each passing year, meteorologists watch closely, trying to determine whether hailstorms are evolving into something new. But even as the climate shifts, one truth remains unchanged. Hailstorms are among Earth's most dramatic natural events, reminders of the raw power within the sky. To truly appreciate hail, you must understand where it fits in the larger story of our planet. It is not just an inconvenience or a spectacle. It is part of Earth's natural machinery, one of the ways the planet redistributes heat, regulates atmospheric balance, and fuels the water cycle. Hailstorms transport energy between layers of the atmosphere. They influence wind patterns. They shape ecosystems in subtle ways, trimming branches, scattering seeds, pruning vegetation. In some parts of the world, hail is woven into local culture. Ancient civilizations believed hail was a form of divine punishment or a message from gods. In Norse mythology, hailstorms were linked to battles between celestial giants. In Greek stories, they were weapons wielded by Zeus. Indigenous groups in the Americas observed hail as a seasonal sign, predicting harvest cycles and animal migrations. Even today, hail remains unpredictable, mysterious, and deeply captivating. Storm chasers travel hundreds of miles to intercept hail-producing storms, capturing footage of ice falling from the sky like celestial stones. Their videos reveal a world of breathtaking danger, hail exploding on pavement, bouncing like popcorn, shattering glass, piling up against doorways like winter snow, despite the heat of midsummer air. The emotional impact of hail is also profound. For some, it is terrifying, a symbol of chaos from above. For others, it is fascinating, almost hypnotic. Children often collect hailstones, inspecting their swirls and layers before they melt away. There is something strangely magical about holding a piece of cloud-forged ice in your hand, knowing it traveled miles through the sky in a battle between heat and cold. As the years move forward, hail will continue to shape landscapes, challenge scientists, and humble anyone who witnesses its power. It is a reminder of how dynamic our sky really is, how storms breathe, how air moves, how forces we cannot see sculpt the world around us. Standing beneath a sky after a hailstorm, with melting stones glistening in the sun and steam rising from warm pavement, it's impossible not to feel that the Earth has just revealed a part of its secret machinery. For a moment, we see the atmosphere not as empty space, but as a living, pulsing system, capable of incredible beauty and astonishing violence. And with each storm, the dialogue between Earth and humans continues. We learn, we adapt, we prepare, we marvel. Because hail, in all its icy fury, reminds us of something essential. The sky above us is alive.